Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so here we go again. The Democrat fundraising scam has begun. It's an interesting phenomenon, this racial grift phenomenon. The same thing we saw back in 2020. Democrats are once again creating an electoral platform that's heavily focused on restorative racial justice, social justice, fixing the past. The racial equity grift is once again being deployed by the Democrat establishment, and of course it's just as cringe as you might imagine. Restorative justice, social justice, black representation, blah blah blah. The Democrats are selling a bill of false goods once again to minority voters. Vote for us so we can represent you. But apparently what they mean by represent you is essentially let the cringe white women take over the party so they could funnel millions into their activist departments, let's just call it that. You are in the process of getting scammed. The question is, will enough people fall for it? Well, let's have a conversation about this cringe race-baiting nonsense. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, Kamala Harris, she represents the minorities. She represents all Americans, and you can tell that simply by looking at her audience. Kamala Harris voters are a diverse tapestry of different cultures and ethnicities. Yeah, you probably get where I'm going with this. No, Kamala Harris rallies are essentially a sea of white. It's all white faces. A sea of white faces as far as the eye can see. Don't you feel represented as a minority? Of course not. Because this administration isn't for you, it just wants to use you. Going right back to 2020 after the summer of riots, that's exactly what they did. The Democrat Party, the DNC, and Act Blue picked up the George Floyd torch. They fought for social justice, all the left-wing buzzwords, everything a susceptible, emotional voter is looking for. All the same feel-good nonsense. But of course, when push comes to shove, when it comes to actually achieving results, mobilizing those monies for productive purposes, or community building purposes, well, of course, you got zilch, nada, nothing. Absolute zero. Well, that's exactly what we're seeing again. It's a big fundraising haul with all the typical social justice activist white liberal Karens. Kamala Harris just hosted a massive Zoom call called White Women Answer the Call, and we got an inside look into this event. Take a look.
As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots. You are responsible for your algorithm, believe it or not. Intentionally seek out and share content from BIPOC creators, activists, thought leaders. They should be the leaders of conversations about race and justice and equity. So be ready for feedback and listen when you're corrected, and model doing your best to repair harm that's done, because a lot of the times being an ally means being willing to be uncomfortable. And no one is more uncomfy than someone talking to their bigoted family members. So yes, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. No pun intended. Get it?
Who in their right mind is voting for this kind of woke nonsense? Now, the obvious reality here is that most people are unaware of what's really going on. Most of it is just plain ignorance. But how many times is that going to be an excuse? You know, that was the excuse the last time. BLM this, BLM that. Anybody who criticizes BLM is a racist. Well, not too many leftoids using that defense these days, huh? After BLM siphoned millions upon millions of dollars, after causing billions of dollars in damages, only to then use that money to buy lavish mansions. You know, are we really going to repeat history? Vote for Kamala Harris, or you're a racist. This is what you're voting for. This isn't anti-racism. It's white women stroking their egos. We are the saviors of this universe. Through our magical privilege, we will undo all of history's wrong. Like, this is wacko cultist stuff. You are being played. This isn't an administration that's gonna represent you. It's an administration that's actively trying to manipulate you. Please, I am urging voters to focus on policy policy and not this emotional nonsense. Think about the policies, because when you get down to the nitty-gritty details, well, the simple fact is, Kamala Harris doesn't have policies that are going to make your life better. That's why the pitch sounds something like this. This is coming from Pink during that same White Women for Kamala Zoom call.
And I watched a clip of Trump's speech tonight. I think it was tonight. Where he was saying, you know what? I'm not going to be nice anymore. So is it okay with you all if I'm not nice anymore? And I thought, wait, were we nice before? Was he nice? And then everyone cheered. And I thought, oh my God, I have a 7-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl. And I don't know what to tell them anymore about who we're supposed to be. And if this is what we're trying, if this is what we're allowing, this base, horrific, horrible nature that is within all of us to be glorified and celebrated and elected, I don't know what to do anymore. I will lose. I'm not a person that loses hope, but I'm feeling like I'm losing a little bit of hope if this is what we're doing. And it's not about which candidate is perfect. It's which candidate is human and wants to keep us all human.
It's not about which candidate is perfect, it's about which candidate is human. Yeah, ignore the policies, ignore the gas prices, ignore the southern border, ignore the chaos abroad, and just vote on who appears more human. And apparently that's Kamala Harris. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Kamala Harris's entire personality is totally manufactured and contrived. She's an actor. When I think about who's human, I think about flaws. I think about imperfection. I think about how us humans actually interact. In other words, I think about Trump being an authentic human being, not this ridiculous misrepresentation about who Kamala Harris is or what she represents. The whole thing is another Democrat manufactured scam. And again, I urge people, don't fall for it. It's literally ActBlue's BLM scam version 2.0, except this time, Kamala Harris is the vessel. And don't take my word for it, because obviously I'm biased. No, listen to your own side. Listen to the people who are being targeted with this rhetoric, who simply aren't buying it, they're seeing through the illusion.
Hey friends and enemies, I'm just back to ask you, do y'all need a White Urgency is Violence Part 3 workshop? White Urgency is Violence Part 3. Do y'all need that workshop again? Because raising $8 million on a 1.5 hour call, it's giving 2020. It's giving 2020 when all the white people in the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands turned into the Martin Luther King before the first. Sir Martin Luther King. All of you were Martin Luther King, and you had money. You were the wisest racial justice advocates, and you just had resources. And then by 2021, let's not wait till the water runs dry. It had run dry. There was zero resources, content creators, educators, programming. Y'all was buying back black debt, and then y'all didn't have no money for years until recently. The reason why White Urgency is violence is because White Urgency does this. It hops from crisis to crisis, and in between, there's nothing sustainable. There's no organization. There's no community.
Now, of course, that's only one person's reaction, and I'm just sitting here hoping more people are thinking the exact same way. And I guess the question is, how could they not? Or I guess at least that's the hope. We've seen the Democrat playbook. We know what they do. It's election season, so everything's about race. Race this, race that, give us your money. Because the white liberal Karens will come in and mobilize all the dollars, all the HR departments, to unwind America's deep racist past, one DEI hire at a time. You've seen the scam before. It doesn't work. Your life's gonna get better. Wake up. Kamala Harris doesn't actually care about you. None of these people care about you. It's all about culture and power. They're just addicted to feeling like the world's racial saviors. They want your vote and nothing else. Wake up and friggin' smell the coffee. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.